What's going on? Brian Tong here, and welcome to the Apple Byte for all the good stuff, the bad stuff, and everything in between inside the world of Apple. Now, we gave you a breather from it last week, but there's a new flurry of iPhone 5 news, starting with a report from All Things D that claims Apple's iPhone media event for the iPhone 5 is scheduled for October 4th, but it could also change at any time. It will be Tim Cook's first cookie note, and who doesn't like cookies? They report the plan is to make the new phone available a few weeks after that, and that might be true if you listen to Al Gore. Now, the former vice president currently sits on Apple's board and must have been unable to hold back at a conference in South Africa when he said that Apple will be releasing the new iPhones next month. See, that's plural, which then set off a debate whether or not he was talking about one specific model or two separate models, like the rumored 4S and 5 released together. Now, the man created the internet, and maybe, I wouldn't put it past him, but maybe he created the iPhone 5 too. But we know one carrier that will not be getting the iPhone 5, and that's T-Mobile, after an internal news posting was leaked, and T-Mobile's chief marketing officer outright said in the document, "We are not going to get the iPhone 5 this year." So that pretty much squashes it, but it doesn't rule out the possibility for them to get it in the future. But its status with the AT&T acquisition also makes for an unclear future. Now, this may not be as juicy as an iPhone 5, but according to Boy Genius report, iPhone 4S cases are already arriving at AT&T stores from OtterBox and Spec, who are legit third-party partners. Now, you can see a larger opening for the camera, but that doesn't mean it will have a larger camera sensor. But the best news about this, they're coming soon. Now, there hasn't been much chatter on the iPod Touch front, but Mac Rumors reports the next revision will be very minor, with the main change being a color option for white. Now, I really don't care, but it will include the oleophobic coating that lasts for about a day and a revised ambient light sensor, but it's expected to be nearly identical to the current generation. All right, let's take a quick break, and if you hate fingerprints, Donald Bell will show you how to make a free iPad stylus.
Touchscreens offer an awesome and simple way to navigate and interact with your tablet or smartphone, except when they don't. When it comes to detailed control, something like drawing or writing, it can be really useful to have a pen. But not just any pen will work, since it's not a matter of pressure, but an issue of electric conduction. You can buy a compatible stylus for as little as $5, but what if you need something right now? Well, in this CNET how-to, I'm going to show you how to make a touchscreen pen that's essentially free, assuming that your boss will look the other way if you raid the supply closet. So here's what you'll need. You'll need a pen, a paper clip, and a sponge. Now, make sure that the pen is one of those that you can pull apart. You'll also need 3 tools: pliers, scissors, and a drill. First step, pull the pen apart and remove the ink cartridge. Keep it around though, you'll need it later. Next, slice a little rectangular wedge off of the sponge. You're going to be squeezing a chunk of this through the barrel of the pen, so make sure it's small enough to get in, but thick enough to stay put. Any sponge should do, as long as it has a little moisture in it, and you can always test it out by using it directly on your screen. Next step, drill a hole into the pen barrel. The hole needs to be big enough for the paper clip to get through. Now, shove the sponge through the barrel so that it pokes out of the tip. Then, put the pen back together, and finally, flatten out that paper clip and poke one end of it into the hole that you made, just so that it's jabbing the sponge, and then wrap the rest around the barrel. So long as your hand is in contact with the metal, it'll carry an electric charge through the sponge and to the screen. Now, it won't work if the sponge is completely dried out though, but a few drops of water should get you back in business. So there you go, a DIY capacitive stylus you can use with any tablet or smartphone. It's not pretty, but the price is right, it's easy to customize, and you can make one in just a few minutes. For CNET.com, I'm Donald Bell.
I love arts and crafts time. It's my favorite part of the day, second to nap time. Now, we always like to take a peek into the crystal ball of the Big A, and a new patent filing shows how Apple plans to have iPhones and other Apple devices communicate with things like a downtown parking meter, garage or home door, or even a cash register. It plans to adopt other wireless standards to allow iOS devices to effortlessly sync with future smart devices and appliances by forming connections with a specific parking meter or register in a store. So that might be one of the many reasons to hold onto your iDevice, or maybe you really do just like shiny toys. According to UBS Investment Research, 89% of iPhone users are planning to stay with Apple for their next handset. Now, that's a huge number, and the next closest manufacturer was HTC with a 39% retention rate and a big sad face for RIM, which dropped from 62% to just 33% over the last 18 months. All right, guys, the quick bites. We beat up on the final release of Final Cut Pro X, and Apple has responded by releasing an update that supports XML formatted projects and other missing features, while multicam editing and broadcast video output support is still coming next year. And they're also throwing in a 30-day free trial, so, guys, give it a try. Also, did you guys know that Apple finally launched the 3G version of the iPad 2 in China? Well, neither did we, and neither did people in China. Apple planned for it, but look at those lines of invisible people. I've never seen so many. The employees outnumbered the scalpers and security guards too. And the devices have been out on the gray market for a while, so that was probably a deterrent. And the biggest turnoff, the 16 gig version sold for the equivalent of $721 US. Ouch. Now, the Wisconsin Library has launched a program that allows customers to borrow iPads instead of books. The iPads are loaded with over 1,000 ebook classics, audiobooks, and apps. You can either use them in the library or take them home for a week, and I feel sorry for the person that has to clean them. And Apple is also starting a new program of their own that lends an iPad to retail employees for a week, according to CNET. The program is only available at the San Francisco store and might roll out to others, but let's just see how long it takes for us to find one of these in a bar. I'll give it a week. All right, let's announce the winners from our Spec Products MacBook Air case giveaway. The correct answers to the different foods the Iron Chef MacBook Air sliced up at the end of the show are mushrooms, lettuce, shrimp, and an apple. Now, a lot of you missed the mushroom and thought it was like a potato or a cookie, so you guys need to pay attention. But congrats goes out to Andrew Gushin, Mickey Shee, Veronica Enriquez, Shy Hermit, Thomas Corsini, Letitia Collins, Chris Kirby, and Rana J. Gosh. So congrats to all you. And that's going to do it for this week's show. Send us your emails to theapplebyte@cnet.com, and we'll catch you guys next time for another Bite of the Apple.